Okay.
You are live.
Okay, good morning.
Wait.
Are we live?
Oh, there you
All right, good morning. I'm Mark Kleiser, Senior Planner with Mendocino County, and I'm going to call the Coastal Permit Administrator meeting for November 14th, 2024 to order at 11 a.m. And clerk, do we have determination of legal notice?
And legal notice has been determined on the matter on the agenda.
Thank you. Then we will just move into our regular calendar, and our first and only item today is item 3A, that is case number CDP 2024-0019, and do we have staff presentation?
Sure, thank you, CPA. The Coastal Development Permit request is to drill 8 exploratory soil borings, install a vapor well, replace 2 groundwater monitoring wells, and install a sentinel monitor at 5 sites and destroy 8 wells and 27 soil borings. The project is in the coastal zone, 0.26 miles south of the Mendocino Town Center, situated at the intersection of Main Street and Howard Street, located at 44091 Main Street in Mendocino. And there's several APNs, but I'll get into that. Okay, as detailed in the staff report, the project is located at the gas station in the town of Mendocino. According to the State Water Resources Control Board GeoTracker, the 44091 Main Street property has been identified as a leaking underground storage tank cleanup site. This CDP is in response to the Regional Water Quality Control Board's request to monitor and remediate the impacts of the leaking underground storage tank. As I mentioned previously, the project request includes drilling soil borings, installing a soil vapor well, replacing 2 monitoring wells, installing sentinel monitors, and at 5 sites. The applicant and the North Coast Regional Water Quality Control Board have developed a soil and groundwater investigation work plan to investigate secondary source areas where potential pollution could remain from the underground fuel storage tanks. The applicant proposes to destroy all groundwater wells upon completion of the investigation, including the 5 groundwater monitoring wells and 19 soil borings from previous site investigations. All field work will be performed under the supervision of a California registered professional geologist, and the applicant anticipates the investigation to be completed within 12 to 14 months. The project request complies with the applicable general plan and zoning designation of Mendocino Commercial. The project was referred out to standard public agencies on June 19th, 2024 of this year. Noteworthy responses from the public agencies include the Mendocino City Community Service District stated that the property is not currently compliant with the Mendocino Community Service District groundwater management program. The parcels do not have a valid groundwater extraction permit on file with them and do not regularly report a water meter reading to them. So the Community Service District has no objection to this project, but requires that none of the monitoring wells associated with the CDP, the project, or property are not approved for the use as production wells now or in the future without first coming into compliance with the Mendocino City Community Service District regulations, including the successful completion of a hydrological study as outlined in Groundwater Extraction Permit Ordinance 2020-01. Sherwood Valley Band of Pomo Indians and the Archaeological Commission requested that tribal monitoring be present during ground disturbing activities. And then Department of Transportation also requires the applicant to obtain an encroachment permit for any work within the county right-of-way. This California Department of Fish and Wildlife requested all work be conducted in accordance with the approved work plan that is overseen by the North Coast Regional Water Quality Control Board. Staff prepared a memo today, staff memorandum, today, November 14th, 2024, that includes the Community Services District's request to prohibit the monitoring wells associated with the CDP project and or property to be used for production wells now or in the future, unless landowner complies with the regulations and completes the hydrological study as outlined previously. And the second condition of approval requires the applicant adhere to all guidelines and conditions noted in the North Coast Regional Water Quality Control Board work plan, that is attachment 0 or O, sorry. And also conditions of approval also include the other recommendations from agencies, and one additional condition of approval requires that the applicant stage all building materials and construction vehicles in already disturbed areas so they don't encroach into the vegetated areas in the parking lot to the south. There were no public comments submitted as of today. Staff recommends approval of the coastal development permit in accordance with all of the findings and conditions contained in the staff report. And this project would be categorically exempt from the provisions of California Environmental Quality Act under the minor alterations to land and actions by regulatory agencies for protection of the environment classes. And that also concludes my report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You mentioned early on that there were several APNs. Can you read those in
Oh, sure.
to the record?
As per the record, yes. APNs 119-250-46, 119-250-47, 119-250-27, and 119-250-40.
All right, thank you. Okay, do we have a owner or representative for the project here today to speak?
I don't see anybody online.
Okay. And are there any members of the public which wish to speak? Nothing.
Nothing.
Okay. All right, well with that, then I'm going to close the public hearing and bring it back to the Coastal Permit Administrator. I've reviewed the staff report and the findings and conditions of approval as recommended by staff, and including today's memo, with added conditions of approval number 14. Number 14 reads, the applicant shall adhere to the guidelines and conditions as noted in the North Coast Regional Water Quality Control Board work plan at all times, and it's referring to attachment O. And condition number 15, which reads, the monitoring wells associated with this CDP project or property are prohibited for the use as production wells now or in the future without first coming into compliance with all MCCSD regulations, including the successful completion of a hydrological study as outlined in the Groundwater Extraction Permit Ordinance 2020-01. And with that, then, I will approve the project subject to the findings and conditions of approval contained within the staff report and the conditions of approval and the two added ones today, 14 and 15. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, then moving on to item 4, matters from staff. Are there any matters from staff?
I don't have anything.
No matters from staff. And moving on to item 5, which is matters from the public. Do we have any Members of the public wishing to speak today? It looks like nobody. Okay. Then moving on to adjournment. I will then adjourn the November 14th, 2024 Coastal Permit Administrator meeting at 11:10 a.m. Okay, thank you.
Oh, quick.
That wasn't nice. I like the